Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 upgrades plus one very simple little bonus upgrade that you can make to your Ford 8N tractor. A lot of these could go for really any of these old vintage tractors, but since I have a Ford 8N, that's mostly what we'll stick to here. I think almost every single one of these upgrades that I'm going to mention today has some sort of drawback, and I'll get into those with each one of them. So you'll have to decide for yourself whether or not they're upgrades. These are just simple upgrades. These are not, doing modifications to the engine to get more horsepower out of it. Nothing crazy like that. Just very simple bolt-on, quick change out, 1 or 2 hour jobs at the absolute most. Anyway, these aren't in any particular order, but we'll just get started with number 1. Before I forget, all of these products that I'm going to talk about in this video are going to have a link in the description that you can go to Amazon and pick them up if you choose to decide that it's worth it, decide that it's an upgrade you want to try on your tractor. So the first thing, this is probably the most obvious one. This is something that literally everybody does from what I understand, and that's converting your tractor from 6 volt to 12 volt if it hasn't been converted already. I will leave a link to the 12 volt conversion kits on Amazon in the description below. There's tons and tons of videos on how to convert those or these tractors over to 12 volt from 6 volt all over YouTube. Search them up. In fact, maybe I'll find a good one and I'll put it in the description below. But that's really not supposed to be a very hard job to do. It makes your tractor a lot easier to start. The batteries are easier to go get. There's several little benefits to it, those being the biggest ones. So that's going to be the first upgrade that probably just about everybody should do, that I can't really think of any drawbacks to it other than that the tractor is just no longer original. All right, the number 2 upgrade is going to be switching over to an electronic ignition. I had bought this tractor originally with a points and condenser system in here, and it was just really unreliable. I had starting issues with it, and it didn't want to start often in the winter time. I'd fiddle a long time with it trying to get it going so I could get work done. Summertime, it didn't seem like I had as many problems with it. But there's a couple of different electronic ignition options that you have. One is more of a name brand, and I don't even remember what that name brand is, like Pentronics or something like that. I don't remember what it is. And then there's just like a cheaper aftermarket brand. I've had my cheaper one in here for almost 2 years, and it's still going strong. It was like half the price or something like that. So I'll leave a link in the description to both of those. The way that this is an upgrade is that you have more reliable, better starting. This tractor is just going to start and run. In my experience, where if you're sticking with the points and condenser system, it takes a lot more work and regular maintenance of that system to keep it going and starting for you. The drawback is if you're like one of the EMP prepper types, I suppose, I think that this is going to not be EMP proof or whatever, but if that happens, there's going to be a lot bigger problems than not being able to start your tractor, and so I don't worry about it. That's not my thing. So yeah, you have to determine whether or not that's an upgrade for you, but for me, absolutely is an upgrade. Made this tractor way more reliable. All right, this next upgrade is something that I actually have considered removing quite a bit. There is a drawback to it, and that is just upgrading the seat to a soft cushion, vinyl covered seat. This is just a universal tractor seat. Bolts right on. It's adjustable. I can slide it back and forth. It has a backrest. Here's what I'll say about this upgrade. If you're the type who is going to just, stick an implement on the back of this tractor and drive straight lines for a lot and do very little turning, and a lot of very little back and forth and backing up and turning around and all kinds of stuff like that, if you're going to actually use it to plow fields or whatever, I guess is what I'm getting at, or mow, I think this seat is a comfortable upgrade, and it is worth doing if that's what you're doing, the driving straight and not doing lots of, watching the implement and backing up and reversing. For me, the reason why I've considered getting rid of it is I'm able to slide around in the metal pan seat a lot more, and where I don't really use this tractor for that kind of stuff, it's actually more of like a landscaping tractor, I would pretty much say. I've moved so much dirt with this thing. Completely transformed this backyard with just a box blade, a grading blade, a ripper, you know, a couple of other things, whatever. Anyway, the way that I use it, I feel like because I'm able to slide around easier and turn and look at what's going on behind me, especially because I'm reversing so much, I feel like that the pan seat's almost better. And the pan seats really aren't uncomfortable. This is just slightly more comfortable, I guess. So, you know, you have to determine whether or not it's worth the money. They run like $100. It was a recent upgrade I made. All right, number 4 is an upgrade that I have not actually done yet, that actually really kind of needs done, that would have saved an issue for me that I had on this tractor. So there's a pretty inexpensive bumper. Again, I think it's like right around that $100 mark, that you can throw on the front of these things that I wish that I had. You can kind of see how smashed and dented in the tractor is. It mostly came that way when I bought it. This thing was not in great cosmetic shape, other than it had a bunch of new paint thrown on it. But I actually did run into one of my retaining wall posts. It's all a bunch of railroad ties. And I was just looking behind me too much, and I looked and turned around just before it was just almost too late. Pushed in the clutch, slammed on the brakes, tried to stop the tractor, but I did just hit the post just hard enough to kind of smash it in a little bit more. Also could have been prevented entirely had I just had a bumper on there. All right, so this 5th upgrade is an overrunning clutch. This is a very simple upgrade that you can throw on the back of your PTO. This is supposed to save you when doing PTO powered work, where whatever implement you have, if there's like, for example, a motor, you have your cutting rotor, that wants to keep spinning. And because the PTO is driven directly into the differential, or run directly into the differential on this tractor where it turns the wheels, your tractor will keep going based on the inertia of that cutting rotor. So you get one of these because it will run your cutting rotor, but once you push in the clutch and stop the engine power to the PTO, the inertia of the mower will not make the wheels continue to go, because there's a clutch in here and it'll just spin. So this is really a safety thing. I know a lot of guys have made comments on my channels about how if you use it for mowing, it's pretty much a necessity, so you don't run into fences and, you know, potentially hurt yourself. Worst case scenario, or the tractor, you know, best case scenario if something bad happens. So an overrunning clutch, there'll be a link in the description below. Very simple little upgrade you can make to make things safer and work better for you with your 4.8-inch tractor. This is just a steering wheel knob. And my grandpa, for years, he had a Ford Jubilee, I think it was. It's like a 1953 or 54. Just the tractor right after the 8N, the model that Ford made back in the 50s. He has like a 10-acre citrus orchard, and he ran one of these on his tractor as long as I could remember. So again, you know, it's an upgrade that's good for people like my grandpa that would drive, you know, a half a mile straight down these citrus orchards, just rebuilding up his dam systems for his irrigation. For me, I took it off. That's why it's not on the steering wheel, because it just didn't really quite work for all the things that I did. I found that most of the time that I turn the steering wheel, most of the time I need all that muscle to turn the wheel, because there's no power steering on these old tractors. So again, this is another one of those, could be an upgrade, might not be an upgrade things, and you'll have to decide for yourself if it's worth doing. So anyway, with that, guys, don't forget the links in the description below. I will get a small kickback from Amazon if you choose to purchase anything from there. It doesn't cost you anything extra. I just get a small commission. These are things that I absolutely do think that could help you out, but you have to decide for yourself. Other than that, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment below what upgrades that I missed, some things that you think maybe need to be upgraded with these tractors that I didn't hit on. And then if you're not a subscriber, make sure you click subscribe. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next video.